Ready to start your own business? Have a small business already? Or maybe you have a great idea for a business but just don't know where to begin. Get a practical, nuts and bolts business education in just 15 minutes. Check out the $100 MBA Show, a Best of Apple podcast winner with over 2 million downloads per month. It's where business school dropout and successful independent entrepreneur Omar Zenhom shares real world lessons on starting, growing, and scaling your own business. Like episode 2427, How to Use Your Job to Start Your Business. In this episode, Omar shares invaluable insights on how you can leverage your job to gain the skills and experience necessary to launch your own business. From real life examples to practical tips, you'll learn how to use your time at work wisely to prepare for your entrepreneurial journey. This episode is packed with actionable advice that will empower and motivate you to start taking steps towards building your own business. Subscribe to the $100 MBA Show on your favorite podcast app right now. That's $100 MBA Show on your podcast app or 100mba.net. Welcome to the Frugalpreneur Podcast. I am your host, Sarah St. John. This episode is what I refer to as a showcase episode where I feature a bootstrapped entrepreneur and they briefly share their tips, tricks, tactics, techniques, and tools that help them bootstrap their business and the successes and failures along the way. My hope is that each of these showcase episodes will provide at least one valuable takeaway that you could implement right away in your own bootstrap business journey. Now on to the episode.
So I am a former high school English language arts teacher where I taught 9th grade and 12th grade. And during that time, I taught in South Korea, Spain, Thailand, and Saudi Arabia. I also worked with parents, business professionals, and mothers and so on. And I'd have these parent-teacher conversations. I decided to come out of the classroom, be with my aging parents in the Bahamas. And I do have a special set of skills, right? Bringing out the best in people or bringing their awareness to the best that's already in them. I wanted to continue helping kids. And Mr. Rogers says, if you want to help the kids, support the parents. So with my transformational coach training, I said, yeah, let me work with parents, again, doing personal development, but using the thing that's most relevant to them, their kid and the developmental stage that they're at. The reason I work with preteens is because if you get them at this stage, right when they're forming their identity and understanding, you can change their whole trajectory and their understanding of the world. The idea is to implant empowering stories of their identity at this stage before social media fractures their attention. And I loved doing this. I want to teach these skills to parents to open up their connection with their kid through communication. There's joy in this developmental stage of the human. It doesn't have to be all the woes and heartbreak and so on, but it's a transformational time. And when we know what that transformation is, we can meet it better. In order to bootstrap my business, at first I started creating all the content. It was spreading me thin because I had all the ideas and I knew the messaging that I wanted to say, but I had to skill up in creating the content. So 2 ways in which I bootstrapped. One is knowing if I had the message, I just needed a platform to amplify it on. So that was going on to podcasts, finding different audiences that would be willing to listen to the message, and that amplified my voice very quickly. And the second is finding a VA from the Philippines who can edit this material for me so that I could focus on just creating it, but then I can have somebody editing and putting it out for me. And I can lean into my zone of genius. There are many missteps of bootstrapping as well, but those were 2 that I think every frugal entrepreneur should know. How do you amplify your message and how do you get it consistently out there? My biggest success would be finding my tribe, finding the people who vibe along with me. That is to say, other entrepreneurs who are on the same journey that I am, going the same direction as me. When you see the way in which they're doing it, you can take a little bit here and leave a little bit there. Be encouraging to each other along the way. I found it with a particular company, and you got to find your people that are in alignment with your values also. What I mean by that, it's what's important to you. You're creating your business that is a reflection of your personality, and you got to find people who you vibe with in that. So that's one of my biggest successes because it gives you momentum. One of my biggest failures is not using my coach enough. The whole point and idea of having a mentor is that they've gone before you. They've tried it. So you can save a lot of heartache and fumbles along the way if you talk to people who are where you want to be. The best tips, tricks, tactics, and techniques I could use are Podmatch and podcasting directories. The first thing, though, is also getting your offer right, finding your audience who you want to serve, doing an empathy map of them so that you know exactly how you want to serve them, and then getting your story of your offer. In writing your empathy map and getting your offer together, one thing that greatly helped me was Anthropic Claude 3.5. Yeah, man, ChatGPT really helps do the heavy lifting and thinking for you, but then you have to finesse it and get it matching right. So your message is solid and tight. And then taking that message to the market with, again, podcasts and so on, and then fulfilling. One thing that has really helped me in my business is UpCoach, where I'm now putting my courses and then taking those podcasts and then repurposing them onto different channels, specifically LinkedIn for me. And when I say automating that, scheduling it through social beats, that is my workflow. I've been creating a buzz, no pun intended. I honestly love doing what I do, and that is helping parents see the best inside their kid to learn how to speak towards that. And I do that by helping parents regulate themselves and see the best in themselves and understand this developmental phase. That said, I have 2 workshops going on this summer, and you'll be able to find them at workshops.marcushiggs.com. The first one is mapping your family's virtues and values. It all starts with a strong sense of identity, this fulfilling life, and the show up framework that I teach. It starts with a strong identity, and collective identity is people like us do things like this, which is your family's virtues and values. The second workshop is nurturing your preteen's potential in the digital age. This technology is creating its own challenges. And how do you navigate this world so that you can still help bring forth an awesome identity inside your child while avoiding the pitfalls of the modern society and the digital age? So you can check me out there at workshops.marcushiggs.com.
I hope you enjoyed that episode and were able to take away a valuable nugget of information that you can implement right away in your own business. If you feel your story would be valuable for the listeners of this show, please visit frugal.show/guest. Are you a frugalpreneur looking to connect with like-minded individuals? Join our community on Slack, connect with fellow listeners, share your thoughts on episodes, engage in meaningful discussions, including money-saving tips and entrepreneurial insights, and help shape the future of the Frugalpreneur podcast. Plus, you can submit your questions in written or audio form to be featured on the show. Let's build a supportive space together. Join us now at frugal.show/Slack. See you on the inside.